the water in Lake Mead heated up all at once and just formed into a hurricane.
Okay, I'm just going to post one more broadcast message to everyone to let everybody know that we finally got this going, because we had like 25 people in here originally. Now there's only 14. So, and then as soon as we do that, we will officially get started. Well, actually, while I'm typing, why don't you schmucks go ahead and introduce yourselves? Corey, start with you.
Hi, I run things. I drink beer. Okay, to be less mean. I'm Corey. I'm the con chair. If you haven't met me yet, hi. I run Whinny City along with Cider Fest, a few other anime shows, Anime Apocalypse, Anime Milwaukee. And yeah, this is the 5th con that I've ran. I've been doing it for about 10 years now. I have willfully suckered in. I mean, garnered the help from Charlie and a few others as some of my core staff throughout a good chunk of those shows. So you'll see me running around. You'll see Charlie running around. And if you have any questions, you can get a hold of either of us on Slack. I think I'm as Dashing Spirits on Slack. No, I'm not. I have my actual name this time. Ooh. Yeah.
Larsis, we'll go with you. Larsis, I think you're muted.
Goldfish broke his mic.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Larsis went away. Okay, Drew, you go.
Hi, I'm Drew Fain. I'm head of guest relations for both Ciderfest and Whinny City. And a few other cons, but they're not as important right now.
A few, he says.
A few? What's your definition of a few, is my question.
4 other ones, but not important.
Drew goes to more cons than GM Barrow, and that's saying something.
Funny.
I have chicken.
I heard that, Pony.
Will, you're up.
I'm Will. I'm the new head of operations. I've staffed absolutely way too many conventions at this point in my life. I've worked at Ciderfest, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Funny.
Larsis, is your mic working?
I think it should be.
Yep, you are.
You're good.
Okay, I'm Larsis. I'm the former head of AV. I'm not actually going to be able to make this convention physically due to job stuff, but I am staying on to help the AV department get organized. Shane over there is my new lead, at least for lighting for now. I haven't quite parsed how that's going to work out yet. I think he and Blue are going to end up running things. I'm also holding Drew's laptop hostage here.
I need to get that. My old-ass laptop that he fixed for me.
Nice.
And that's about all for me.
Yep. And so the Shane, that would go into you.
Hello, everybody. I'm currently the department head for the audiovisual department and the lighting lead for the convention. I've worked both years of MSP so far and last year's Ciderfest, so I'm still a little new to this, but yay, learning.
Oh yeah, should I have gone into how many cons I work?
No.
No, we'll be here all night, okay.
We would spend 3 hours going through the shows that all work, so we're good.
The 1939 World's Fair.
And new to the con scene, John.
Hello, if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Great. I am going to be heading up special events. I'm excited to be working here for the first time, and if anybody wants to learn how to ballroom dance, I can teach it to you.
We will be taking you up on that. Thank you. Okay, and then couple other folks are online and trying to get in. Couple people that are not able to make it currently because of work or other obligations. Sydney, aka Sand Siblings, she's been on multiple. She has been on multiple cons heading up the vendor hall, and she's agreed to help us out plan this one as well. If you've been to a PonyCon, you've seen Razor's Edge, the vendor that sells the etched glasses with the different logos and art on them. She's one of the people behind that business. And then let's see, Cowboy Dave is helping us out with our programming. Currently looking up his email to get him in. Let's see. He has worked. He's back from the what was it, the Everfree days, and he's also worked more cons than I think most of us can count. One moment. I'm gonna try and get Cowboy Dave in here one more time. Ashley Wagner is head of a registration. She is Corey. She's at work, I think, and might be joining in a bit.
Yeah, she's at work right now. I'm actually off. Otherwise, I'd be there right now too, and the meeting would have been later. But yeah, if she hops on, she'll either hop on here or at her house. Yeah, around 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay. David Hoskins is our head of security, aka Royal Guard. Also trying to get him in here. Let's see. Aaron Frost is our head of kids programming. She did a fantastic job at Ciderfest this year, and so we're going to be pretty much using everything we did at Ciderfest and just doing that all over again because it went really, really well. Pardon me while I send invites to people. So then, just a reminder for folks: if you are watching like on Hangouts proper on a computer and you're logged in with a Google account, you can use the Q&A app to ask questions, which we'll be able to see and then answer on the side of the screen. If you're just watching on YouTube, or for whatever reason the Hangouts thing isn't working for you, you can just ask your questions in Slack. We can pick them up there as well. All right. So, and then Tim McKenzie is our head of video game programming, and then David, aka Steel the Warrior Delaney, is our head of tabletop programming. If anybody was at Ciderfest and didn't meet Steel, I would say that probably the most common compliment that we got in the random attendee feedback was how much people loved the Changeling games that he ran. Multiple compliments. So really, really, really great. Tabletop guy, and I believe he's been department heads for other cons before and should do a great job for us. So that, I believe, is the bulk of the main leadership staff here. Hopefully a couple of those other people will be able to join. But other than that, Corey, what do you have for these fine folks?
What do I have for these fine folks? That is a wonderful question.
You have your sets of spiels that you go through for every con.
A new car.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean the basic stuff. I mean, for tonight's meeting, we'll go over. We'll go through division reports. Kind of go what we've done, what we've got. So each department head can go over any updates, just kind of update the crowd on what's going on. I don't have anything major to announce. I just know that we're looking for potential replacements for John Delancey. That is my major thing right now. In about a month or so, we'll start going over things like staff housing, staff needs, all that stuff. The majority of that stuff you cover on Slack, Charlie, so I don't know if that's necessarily things we need to go over.
Sure.
Trying to think if there's anything major I need to go over. I'm not thinking about off the top of my head.
Well, so let's talk about rooming. The rooming situation.
Sure. I mean, we can go over rooming. So rooming's similar here as Ciderfest. It's pretty much a discounted rate that you get. It's all IPO. The discounted rate, I believe, is at, I have to double check, 89 or 99 a night. Don't quote me on that. And the basic systems that you just find, people that you want to room with, and it's just an individual pay zone is what IPO stands for. And we just offer that at a discounted rate versus what the attendees are paying. Let me see if I can look that up real quick. No, it'll take too long. I'll put that on Slack in a general announcement on how much that price is. Just
I
so we
believe
have.
I believe it's 99 plus taxes and all that.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's saving, I think, $20 a night comparative to the room rate. The Schaumburg Hyatt's a little bit different than the Hyatt Milwaukee. It's not as vast of a discount. This is also the first time I've done a show at this hotel. So that's the general gist of it. Later on, we'll go through, figuring out who needs housing, who doesn't, and then we'll send out all that information. So you guys don't need to book your rooms. You can have as many or as little people as you want in those rooms, but that's similar. Like if you're going to another con with friends, that's just going to increase the amount that you would pay for that room. Within that too, in that application, you'll have a spot to designate a room captain. That person will be the person who collects the monies and pays and does all that fun stuff.
Yeah, anybody that was at Ciderfest is familiar with the room captain situation there. What this basically is the Hyatt is not set up to do split billing for rooms. So what we do is we designate a room captain who's basically in charge of the room. When we send out all the the forms and everything for you guys to request rooms and roommates and things like that that we had talked about before, that all you guys in the staff housing Slack group already kind of know about. One of the things we're going to ask is in each room who is willing to be the room captain. The big upsides of being the room captain is basically if you have like a travel rewards card or like a credit card or something like that where you get reward points on, well, you get credit for the room. Basically you'll put your credit card down, you'll pay for the room, and then you will arrange with your roommates to have them pay you back. It's not ideal, but it's unfortunately what we have to do because, like I said, the Hyatt is just not set up to do split billing. So it's really the only option that we have. If anybody has any more questions about that, you can DM me or Corey separately because we went through this with Ciderfest, and so it works out pretty well as long as there's at least one person in every room that has a credit card, and then there's no problem. Are you guys managers? Are you guys able to see the questions? Because for some reason they're actually not showing up on my screen for some weird reason.
Yeah, you gotta click
I can
the
see
Q&A
some.
thing.
Yeah, they're kind of there's not coming up in any kind of order.
They just
Yeah,
kind
that
of pop up at random, or it looks like it to me. I can't really.
Yeah, they're really random.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't know about the order, but you should be able to, Corey. You should be able to like select one of the questions and then like make that the question that we're currently answering, and then we can all see it, I think, or something like that. It's just my screen is being weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it right now too. I'm not necessarily seeing a way that's.
Well, one of the questions was Charlie Beard is best beard.
Well, I'll pass that along to my beard groomer, which hopefully will bring his daughter to the con, actually.
Ollie says it's stinking in Slack chat.
What's that?
Hi, Dave.
That it's sinking in Slack chat.
I'm confused.
Slow.
Oh, I think they were just saying about the number there. Hey, Dave, Cowboy Dave's here.
Okay. Yeah, I think they answered the question. So I'm gonna answer it. And you're asking about parking. If there's one parking lot, there is a huge parking lot within that area. So there's a business district. There's IKEA, which is right behind there, and then there's the parking lot for the hotel. All of it's free. It's all complimentary. It's not like the Hyatt Reed in Milwaukee where it's $20 a day. They got a butt ton of parking back there. You can sneak around. If it gets super busy, do the IKEA parking lot on the backside. No one notices.
Question: is it a garage or just like a parking lot?
Nope, straight up parking lot.
Okay, cool. I can bring my ambulance.
And for people that are new, that is not a joke.
No, it's not.
No, in fact, it is the AV van. You see, like most conventions, we're just going to put it on stage, open up the back of it. The lights will be the lights for the stage. Full of speakers.
So, real quick, now that Dave's on, Dave, you want to introduce yourself? Maybe? Dave, you're muted.
He's muted. No, he's not.
I thought we heard him initially. Cowboy Dave's a guy. He's a guy that does some stuff. And yeah. Cowboy Dave, everybody. Okay, so hey, Shell. So real quick, she hasn't joined Slack yet, just because she's more busy than probably anybody else I know. But my wife Michelle will be heading up the green room, and she's here. Hey, Shell. There she is. And so she will be heading up the green room, and yes, making sure that all of our guests are properly trained. So.
There's a contest for the busiest person, I see.
Yeah. She's winning. The most recent link that I sent you should work. There was some weirdness getting it going. But okay, so what other questions are there that we can maybe answer for some people?
Dave's back.
Back again.
I did. Let's try this.
And he can talk.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Finally.
Yes.
Jesus.
Less than an hour. Okay.
Okay.
There aren't any questions, so everyone must know exactly what they're doing for this convention.
Okay, so
everybody, see you next week.
okay, so well, I guess for those that are new to the scene, we can run through the various departments and what everybody's in charge of. I know that there's some questions over exactly what department is in charge of what things. So operations, for example, operations. The way that we like to handle operations is they're basically like the nerve center of the con. They are the glue that holds everything together. Where they monitor the radios, they hand out the radios, and they monitor the radios, and they keep an ear on things and kind of help interdepartmental communication. So operations, it's most important that they have like schedules available so they know what's going on and when things are where. It would be beneficial for them to be checking up on departments and just checking on the main hall, checking in on the different panel halls, making sure that things are running on time and everything. And just making sure that things are running smoothly. If departments have issues, then if it's something urgent, you can call one of the chairs or security if it's a security related matter. But if it's like something like needing paper, like needing labels if your registration, or various things like that, operations would be your first call, and then operations would help put you in contact with the people that will solve problems, and that's kind of what operations is to me. It's kind of a loose job description, but intentionally so, because you never know what's going to come up in one of these things. Main events handles basically all the panel programming and all the the concentric events like the voice actor panels, opening closing ceremonies, and anything else that's like normal main convention events. Special events, on the other hand, handles things like handles things like the gala, the charity auction. And any other if we were to do any ticketed events, and by the way, a couple people know about this, and John, I can tell you now, unfortunately I got the word today that and Corey too, the gaming under the influence thing is not going to be happening. They're not sure they're going to be in they're not sure they're going to be in a space that weekend in April, so I'm going to reach out one more time to see if they want to come to us, because that'd be interesting. But
Right.
So side note, if anybody has any suggestions for events that would be good to take a group of people to, that are like social and fun and engaging events,
The bar trot.
let us. Well, see, that's the problem, is because if you went to Cider Fest, or if you heard about it, like the pub trot that we did on Thursday night, a lot of fun. Everybody that went seemed to have a really good time. And I would love to do something like that again for Whinny City. However, the location of the hotel, it's not in walking distance of a bunch of bars like it is in downtown Milwaukee. There's Woodfield Mall, which is right across the street, which has a bunch of stuff in it, but they're like nicer, expensive restaurants. It's not like pubs where you can get drinks and hang out and stuff like that. It's just not the same. There are some areas where we could potentially commute to do a pub trot, but I don't know. That's probably more complicated than it needs
Take
to be.
the ambulance.
Get your
That's
liver.
an option.
It's an option.
I can see 10.
we will consider that.
There are a number of options in that area, but the only concern that I had is that is budget, to be perfectly frank, because as you said, that there's expense. It's also a matter of how active we want to be. Like, for instance, I was thinking about a comedy club, and then it was thought, well, that's not really very interactive. There's bowling alley, but it's a lot to rent. So it's just a matter of how much we want to spend and how much time and how much community you want to engage in. And that kind of that limits how much we could do on Thursday night, as for instance.
Yeah, the one of the things that we were considering was going to this event that I just mentioned, Gaming Under the Influence, which is it's like a live internet streamed game show where you're playing video games each other in a space downtown where you're being streamed live over the internet, and but at the same time they're messing with you by throwing ping pong balls at you and shooting you with Nerf guns and making you stop and do shots and stuff like that. And so it would have been a lot of fun if we could have made it work, but the timing just ended up not being good because they're having to leave their space and they won't be set up in a new space on our weekend. But were we going to do that, we would have charged tickets, and the tickets would have paid for a bus to get everybody downtown and probably some refreshments for the bus. So, if any of you guys have an idea of a place that we could go that be relatively inexpensive, all things considered, but please let us know, just because we're open to any ideas. There's a couple other things we're thinking about, but so that's that. Corey, do we have a charity picked out for this con?
Not yet. I'm still working with a couple other groups, and I'm trying to find something local in the Schaumburg, Chicago area. I'm still waiting. That's the one thing I was trying to work on, but I haven't heard back yet.
Okay, so there will be a charity that the charity auction will sponsor, and potentially one or two other events. If we have just depending on what works out, hasn't been picked yet. But if anybody gets any questions about people wanting to donate items to the charity auction, just direct them to my email, which is just pr@whinnycity.com, or to Corey's email, which is conchair, CONCHAR @whinnycity.com, and either one of us can accept donations, and we'll bring them to the con and everything. John, did you get anything from Danielle yet about acceptance forms and everything for charity items?
I haven't heard back from her. Actually, I meant to get on Slack this past weekend and actually try to send her some, a poke or what have you. But if you've got a better way to contact her, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I'll reach out to her. I know she's super busy, so I'll reach out to her and just remind her about that. Real quick, I want to address a couple things that are in Slack before they get lost. Panels and vendors being on the website. Vendors should be soon. The vendors have all been selected. I just need to collect some information from them so I can put together their profiles and get them on the site. Panel selection should also be happening this week. I would love for it to be done by the end of this week. It's just a matter of wading through all the panels and just getting a schedule put together that makes sense. So like I say, the selection process for panels will hopefully be done by the end of this week, and then the information actually compiled and put together and put on the website. Hopefully, well, by the end of February is my goal. I know that sounds like a long ways away, but just with everything else that's going on, to me, that's a realistic goal. Yeah, a month. The schedule going up a month before the con is not that out of character. So, Build-A-Bear party at Woodfield. That's actually something that we've been talking about. Apparently, Build-A-Bear will actually. I hear will actually come to you and do events. And so I know we were looking into some options there. I need to check and see where that process is.
Ben was handling that one. We can get with him tonight.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I just need to check in and see where he's at on that. I know he was expecting a callback. Oh, there, Ben. He was expecting a callback from Build-A-Bear corporate office about doing something at con. We could still do something at the mall. I don't know if I want to do a Build-A-Party at the mall because I don't want to. Like the people who go to that are like the kids, and I'm not sure if I want all of our, younger, real target audience to leave the con in the middle of the day to go to a Build-A-Bear thing. We kind of want to. Well, we want to be their entertainment, not just ship them off somewhere else. So, I'm not sure if I would. I'm not sure. Corey and I would need to talk about that to see, see how we feel about that. But having them come to us would be fantastic. Beer market for beer, Giants. Jamie. Beer market. I've been over there. I believe there's also there's tap house or something like that. Actually, that's true. John, can you look into that? Over by Woodfield, are you familiar? I think it's called just like the beer market or something like that.
Beer market?
Yeah, I believe it's like it's in the mall circle or next to the mall circle, and it's kind of a smaller place, but it has kind of a pub feel. But they have like 100 different beers on tap. So that would be kind of interesting. So we'll see that. Yes, Ben, I just looked up and saw that. Thank you. I'm looking at Slack right now.
What I'll do is I'll look it up tonight, tomorrow, and what I can do is, after finding out the address, make sure that it actually fits what we want to do and that it's not like ridiculously expensive or far away or what have you.
Yep, they do tastes and stuff like that, so doing like a tasting I think should be good. Corey, by the way, if we're not planning on doing something Chicago deep dish pizza related for like the meet and greet dinner or something like that, that would be a travesty.
I heard pizza. I'm listening.
Yeah.
It's all about what I can get from the hotel. If they can order something from like Giordano's or Luminati's, that would be good.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be it. That would be quite appropriate, I would say. Okay, I think I'm caught up on Slack questions. If you ask me a question in Slack and I missed it, please ask it again. But yeah, going back to the to kind of what the different departments do and everything. So guest relations, basically, that's Drew's ballpark. That handles everything from the handlers that take care of the guests while the guests of honor while they're at the con. Takes care of the autograph sessions and the autograph rooms and then the green room. Drew, am I missing anything?
Acquisitions, sort of.
Well, yeah, the pre-con stuff, acquisitions, and making sure that all their needs are met, and actually getting them to the con, of course, is that's a whole other ball of wax. But yes, true, very true.
So, who's my autograph manager for this one? Is it Steph? Or I don't have an autograph manager, do I?
Not as such. Which I will actually take that to transition into something else. Folks, we could really use some more volunteers. We've had a couple people had to drop out for various reasons, and the initial applications that have come in were not what I think we expected. Just in terms of how many we got. So if anybody can think of anybody that you would like to invite and hang out with us and work at the con, please direct them to our volunteer application, because there's a couple areas that we would still benefit from having some help in.
Like AV.
Larsis, we'll talk more about that alternative quote. Corey, I did get a quote back from Nick from Billings. We just need to see if that fits in with what we want. But it would come with Nick and a couple other people. So there is that. But we'll talk that.
Yeah, let me know that and we can work on that too. Because we can also work with the hotel. If there's certain things that the VS bill that Nick doesn't have, we can see what he does have. Kind of mix and match.
Well, one thing that Nick doesn't have that you guys are going to need is pipe and drape.
And that's something the hotel will have.
Exactly. The hotel has pipe and drape?
Oh, yeah, the hotel has pipe and drape. They have enough for their main programming area, and if we're only using half of it, they'll be able to offer that up. There's also that Drape King group, too, that we use. They're actually pretty cheap.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap, and their drape is better.
Yeah,
I really like the Drape King drapes.
Is that who we use at Ciderfest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think they're based out of Chicago.
Yeah, they are actually. I think they're even based out of Schaumburg. Come to think of it.
Hey, I'm gonna check that real quick while we're talking.
Okay, so I don't know if any of my my PR folk are watching. The various people that help me out on the PR side of things. There's some people on social media. There's some people on the art staff, and I've got a real great crew of artists. The artists that have been doing the art for the con so far. I hope you guys have been keeping up with all that, especially with the new OC designs that we introduced. Formally introduced this last week, but started kind of incorporating about a month ago. I love everything about it and everything that's been going on so far with Jamie, aka Sweet Cream, and Callie, aka Tamleon. I'm not sure if they're watching right now. I believe Jamie is, but yeah, golf clap for them for their artwork so far. Very happy with that.
Also, a lot of good attendee feedback on the.
What's that?
There's also a lot of good attendee feedback on Hoofwork.
Yes, yeah, that went. Whenever you do something like that, I'm always. I mean, not that I've done something like that exactly like that before, but whenever you tread into those kind of waters, you get a little bit nervous about how it's going to be received, and the reception on Hoofwork has been super super positive from everything I've seen so far. So very 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 pleased with that. Let's see.
Hey, just jumping in real quick. Ollie suggested GameWorks as a possibility. While it's not, well, I know it can be comparatively a little bit expensive. It would allow for people to kind of wander around a little bit.
Sure. If we could do, I mean, like level 257 is basically the same thing. If we could get
more expensive.
Well, I mean, like I don't know how the game cards compare between GameWorks and 257, just as far as game time is concerned.
I can kind of compare the two. So level 257 is more expensive in terms of their atmosphere and their location. The food's more expensive. They have a lot less in terms of games and activities. It's more about eating, and then you have, I think there's like 8 bowling lanes for 12 or whatever, and then there's like this tiny little like cornered off section upstairs of like their arcades. Comparative to the GameWorks there, it's 2 floors and it's 21 plus after 9 o'clock, and you can buy like the 1 hour passes or the how much ever whoever wants to spend as much as they can. The only thing to note, GameWorks is really expensive in alcohol and they're really shitty, but they're poor. That Schaumburg location in particular.
Yeah, that all sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah. Those who drink strong pour.
Sydney, I imagine that there is. I'm pretty sure that there is an online a map of the hotel space online. I'll see if I can find that. If somebody can find it and post it, or I'll post it if nobody else does. If I can find it.
I haven't. There's public, so I'm already on it.
Okay. So real quick side note about the hotel too. I and a couple other people were who will be working this con was at this hotel a couple weeks ago for Anime Apocalypse. The hotel is very nice. I was pretty pleased with the staff. I will say that the layout of the hotel is super weird, at least as far as what I have to compare it to. So just kind of something, especially for like Royal Guard people, to keep in mind. And anybody who's going to be interacting with attendees and possibly answering questions and giving directions. Kind of make it a little bit of an extra effort to familiarize yourself with the layout of the hotel, because it's very corridor-y. Like it could be possibly easy for somebody to get lost. So just kind of something to keep in mind. Just kind of keep an extra eye open, just kind of like to the hotel space and the layout and everything, just so you can be able to not get lost yourself, and help other people that might need to get help.
I posted the layouts and the capacity charts on Slack on the general con chat.
Awesome. I do believe we have enough panels that we will be having the main hall and then 2 panel rooms. So the way that the schedule and everything worked will be similar to how Ciderfest was if anybody was there. The goal is that there will always be something going on, if not 2 things going on, and we'll try to stagger like the types of events so that we don't have like 2 of like the same kind of thing going on at the same time. Also, we also try and not have anything super important competing against it. Other important events, like if anything is up against the main voice actor panels, it will be events that are specifically okay with being with doing that. So just kind of for everybody's FYI there. Let's see. Video game and tabletop gaming. Pretty self-explanatory what they are. Again, if anybody knows anybody that would like to help out with the departments, especially if anybody knows people that have games that they would like to bring and share them with attendees at the con, that would be great. Let's see. Are there any more questions listed that we could address?
Let's see here.
And like once a question's been answered, you can like clear it off the list. I wish mine was working.
Mine's not letting me clear out for some reason. It's really weird.
It's like I think the question module might not be working correctly right now or something. Anyways, if anybody has any questions that have not been answered, make sure to ask them in Slack, because at least we know we'll be able to see those. Trying to think of other general things that we haven't already covered. Staff badges. So what will happen is, first of all, if anybody has already purchased a badge, like before you join staff, maybe you basically have two options for getting that for getting your badge refunded. One is we can either do a refund after the con. Just after we've closed books, we have got some money to be able to pass back to you. Or if you'd like, you can basically take your refund in the form of 2 autograph vouchers, just because that's kind of easier for us, and might be easier for you to be able to enjoy those at the con. So if you've already purchased a badge and need a refund, just keep that in mind. But for those who don't have, but for everybody else. What's going to happen is again, same thing at Ciderfest if you were there. Every single person who is attending the con, whether they are a vendor, whether they're a helper of a vendor, whether they're just a normal guest, whether they're staff, whether they're a musician, or just anybody, every single person is listed in Eventbrite. Everybody has a badge with their name on it. And so basically, we will be putting up a free badge type, a hidden free badge type on Eventbrite that will post a code so you guys can go in and reserve your badges. And that's basically just because part of that will also be like the staff agreement, which basically says like don't be stupid and don't make sure that you're not doing anything illegal while you're on staff. Yada yada. I'm sure none of it will be surprising. Just part of that agreement is will be built into the staff badge process so that everybody will have agreed to the agreement. By the time you're on con and have a badge around your neck, that'll probably happen also before the end of this month, and then the roaming applications and all that and getting that figured out will happen shortly after that. If anybody has any questions about badges or refunds, please let me know. Just looking at Slack real quick. I'm trying to think of any other managers. Can you think of anything else, like especially from things we did at Ciderfest that were confusing or should have been talked about more beforehand that we could cover now?
We're not rebooting the venue.
We are not rebooting the venue. And we are also not rewiring the venue after rebooting the venue.
Yeah. So for some context, we had something of an unfortunate situation at Ciderfest that basically I'm being kind. Where the
Do you want me to explain this?
Please, yes, please go ahead. If you were there, I had to walk away before I punched.
Okay. So what ended up happening was literally an hour before the concert, we were supposed to be doing sound checks, and while we were doing sound checks, there was a grounding issue, and we couldn't find it. So we kept tracking down to bigger and bigger circuits. We started with the 100 amp circuit behind the stage. We took that to the 1,000 amp circuit down the hall. That's what caused the lights to go out in the main foyer area for the first time. Then we took that downstairs to the basement to the 10,000 amp circuit, which we then reset, and that's what caused all the lights in the venue, all the kitchens, and the front check-in desk to all lose power, was because we decided that the best way to try to fix it would be to unplug it and plug it back in again.
That's solid logic. Wow.
Now, this didn't actually work. What we ended up having to do then was we found another 100 amp circuit just down the hall that no one was using, and we hope no one would see except for the venue. And we dragged that line to behind the vendor hall, all the way to the backstage, and we had to rewire the stage all right before the concert.
It was fun. It was really fun.
That's the word you pick?
And that's the story on why we told the vendors don't use the back doors going into the hallway, because you had the big line right there.
All I knew is that the concert was running late, and they're not here to hear this, but I have super mad respect for the shakeups in Ponyville. They went above and beyond and sat up in the lobby while we were trying to figure out these electrical issues, and voluntarily played an entire acoustic set sitting there in the lobby, entertaining our guests and keeping them happy. Just be out of the pureness of awesomeness of their heart. And then after that, once we finally got things back up and going, then went on stage and played their entire full electric set. So
not the full one. They did cut a few songs from it.
But that's fine. Yeah.
But I told them that they could actually play their full set if they wanted to because they were awesome.
Yeah. So if you guys are able to, make sure that you say hi to them and treat them very well, because they are all excellent people. But yeah. So yeah. Hopefully that will knock on wood. Hopefully that will not be happening.
So wait a minute. Are cons like weddings? Like something always goes wrong at each one? We all have to be prepared?
Yes, absolutely.
Be prepared for everything to go wrong.
Yes, I was going to say that the rule is that if it can go wrong and you haven't prepared for it, it will go wrong.
Got it.
A quick anecdote on that. So it's Saturday morning. I'm walking around, kind of making rounds and checking the departments and everything, and it is eerily quiet. This is like registrations open, people are getting badges, like panels are happening, and you would just think that Saturday morning something would be going on, something would be happening. And I said over the radio, like, I'm just checking in with everybody, are there any issues that need to be addressed? And I immediately got yelled at by everybody saying, like, you never asked that question, because that's just inviting problems. And then what happens? We have to restart the hotel. So
It's bad luck to say good luck on opening night.
So I suppose maybe that was my fault. I don't know. But
Yeah, knock on wood, you jinxed it.
yeah. Okay. So yes, that hopefully that. Question in Slack I want to address about various cosplay policies. We'll be nailing down the wording for this and getting it up on the website, and it'll also be in the con book and all that. But one of the things that technically was in the rules for Cider Fest but was not enforced, which I want to fix this time around, is that we have a rule that basically says if a weapon looks like it could even possibly be a real gun to a passerby, it's not allowed. Meaning, like, airsoft guns, even like with an orange tip, even like those are not going to be allowed just because of the way of the world. If it's like a Nerf gun and it's clearly not a real gun, then that's okay. So that's just kind of the outlook that we want to take on things. I know that there's a group of cosplayers, like military bronies, that go around and they cosplay, and like there's like a group of Spartans who I don't know if we're gonna see from like Halo. I forget what they're called.
Fire Team Harmony.
Thank you. And then there's also a group of military bronies that are like in various colors of like camouflage and things like that. And one of them brought like an airsoft gun, spray painted light blue, into the autograph room for Ashley Ball to sign. And I definitely did not get the sense that she was comfortable with that, understandably so. And so just to kind of reinforce for everybody that if a gun looks like it could even possibly be a real gun, not allowed. It's just got to be a Nerf gun or something that's clearly fake. Let's see.
That really needs to be put out on our social media channels too.
Yeah, it really does.
Before they get there and then they have their stuff, they're staying in a registration line, they go, oh, I'm not supposed to have this.
Yes, it will be written up and on the website, and anytime like a new update or post or article goes up on the website, I do make sure to post about it. And considering the fact that well, this might be a change for some people. I'll make sure to push that post a couple of times.
Just mostly think about the military bronies that I know.
Yeah, and to be super clear, like absolutely nothing against them whatsoever. Like,
oh no, I didn't think so.
Yeah, but
people are comfortable in the world we have today. So.
Yep. Just to be clear for anybody that's watching. So.
What'd I miss?
We were just talking about the guy that asked Ashley to sign that blue gun. And how she did not seem to me to be comfortable.
She was not thrilled about that, no.
Well, she's also from Canada, so that kind of makes a little more sense there. Hey, I'm just saying, it's true.
Sydney, we won't confiscate the weapon. We'll just ask them to take it back to their room or their car. And if they have any questions, it will be in the con book, and we'll just direct them to the con book.
I'll get those invites for SEAL Team 6 ready.
Yeah. Managers,
When do we
anything
want to
else?
have our next meeting?
What's that?
When do we want to have the next meeting?
Well, my suggestion to department heads would be is between now and probably a couple weeks before the con, that you guys should probably have your own meetings with your department just to kind of go over things. If you would like, or need Corey or myself to be there, just let us know. We'll let you know what our availability is in case you need assistance. But I know all hands meetings like this I know are complicated just because everybody's schedules and trying to get everybody in the same place. So we'll probably have one more meeting a couple weeks before the con, just because we'll probably have new staff that aren't on staff now. There's some people who couldn't make this one, this meeting and things like that, and we'll just kind of re-go over everything just to make sure that everybody's clear on policies and procedures and how everything's going to work. But I highly suggest and encourage departmental meetings as often as you want to have them. And like I say, if you want me or Corey there, just let us know. We'll let you know when we're available.
And at the next meeting too, we'll make sure we have more things like kind of like PowerPoint presentations about customer service, radio etiquette, staff check-in, all those kind of things. So that'll be as we get closer, so that there will feel like there's more content for basic level staff at those meetings. But again, yeah, if you need anything between me and Charlie and any of the managers, you can get a hold of us. Please do. We're totally okay with questions.
Yes.
We're all very attentive with keeping up on Slack too. So.
Yep. Saying that we have an open door policy is putting it lightly. Please, I would prefer.
Wait, we get doors now?
Oh my gosh.
I would prefer a dozen dumb questions more than one bad assumption. So please ask all the questions that you can think of.
About the being on Slack active, I have something I need to say about that.
All right.
So I haven't been as active as I should have been, and I feel like now that I have all you here, I can tell you why. I've had a hell of a month here, where I almost lost my job and I went to the hospital.
Oh.
So I'm good now. I got my job.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Glad you're in one piece.
I was taking a break because I was really stressed out from, I don't know, like 7 cons or whatever.
Last month. 7 cons last month.
No. 7 cons coming up in the next 3 months.
That would do it. To be fair, Drew, you always are in danger of your job every time I talk to you. So that part is nothing new.
And I'll take what Drew said. First of all, Drew, glad you're okay and glad you're employed and healthy. But I want to take what Drew said and expand on, and just to say, this con is not more important than your livelihoods. It is not more important than your health. So we greatly appreciate and understand that every single one of you is volunteering your time. And doing this basically out of the goodness of your own hearts, and we greatly appreciate that. But if it's causing any undue stress or discomfort or just issues, please talk to us about it so that we can talk about them and resolve them and take care of them before they become bigger issues. At the end of the day, the con comes second to the health and well-being of every single one of you. So just to make that super, super clear. And kind of going along with that, Corey, what's your rule about, what is it, 5-2-1 or what is it?
Oh, it's the rule of 9. So it's the rule of 9. I usually go over this at the next meeting. It's 6-2-1. It's 6 hours of sleep, 2 meals, and 1 shower a day at minimum. Just your basic functionality. Because we all understand it's a con. You're not going to get your full 8 hours of sleep. You might not eat 3 square meals a day. Good Lord. Shower.
Axe showers do not count.
No, they do not.
I have in my con career, I've only sent 3 people back to their hotel room to shower. Won't be my 4th. I've had to do it, and my con's the worst. I've sent people back, staff, I've pulled their badge and told them to go back to their hotel room and shower before. So I don't take the rule of 9 as I consider it lightly. Find out you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not taking care of yourself, we'll send you back. Especially a show of this size is not that important to not to be able to sleep. So
Yeah, Corey, I know what you mean on that. I medicaled 3 of my staff at Ciderfest, and Shane, I believe you were one of them.
Yeah, you told me to. Yeah, I got sent. Like it wasn't even the con hadn't even started yet. It was set up.
It was 3 a.m. is what it was.
Yeah, it was 3 a.m. and we were still setting up. I'm like, Lars, I want to stay. You're like, no, go to bed. And I was like, okay.
And then,
But,
ironically, Lars stayed and didn't sleep until the next day. So
Yeah.
Lars,
But he was the department head. I was just the ADH at the time.
yeah,
I'm not as cool.
well, do as he says, not as he does, kind of thing.
Exactly. No, I followed the alternative 6-2-1 rule. 6 hours walk per day, 2 snacks per day, and 1 nap per day.
oh, I thought you took 6 showers.
That's what I was thinking of.
Like Corey said, he normally covers that in the next meeting, but I know that there's a lot of people on staff where this is their first con, and so I just kind of wanted to dovetail off of what I was saying about how your safety and well-being is paramount, just because it flowed well into just making sure everybody knows that, it's important to take care of yourselves at the con as well. So that's just the main reason why I brought that up now. Sydney in chat is asking about registration responsibility. So basically, it's registration will both mainly be in charge of basically getting people registered in their badges, and you'll also be fielding a lot of customer complaints just because you will be in most people's heads as the place to go if they have questions, because it's a stationary position and everybody's gone through it, and so that's a lot of people might come up to you with questions or suggestions or complaints or things like that, and so there's a little bit of customer service involved there as well. But yeah, when people come to register, it'll either be one of two things. Either they will have already purchased their badge on Eventbrite, and you'll basically just have to check them in. And we'll go over the specific strings of how to use Eventbrite. We'll have to do that later, because if we go over it now, some people might forget. So, but they will have already purchased their badge. And Corey, one of the things I want to do this time around is I want to have signs up at registration, basically saying if you're standing in line waiting, you can still buy your badge right now on your phone and then step over to the pre-check-in. You don't need, if you want, you can do that, just to kind of help expedite things.
That's something we did at Ciderfest last year, or?
No, it's something I wanted to do, but we just didn't get a chance to like put the signage up. But I mean, okay. It occurred to me that basically reminding people that if we have a line, people waiting to get in, just allowing people to kind of like take care of the financial end of things just on their phone right then and there. Then they just have to basically check in, as opposed to going through the whole process. Would help speed things along. So. Yeah, just a thought that I had. But yeah, so what people will have either already registered on Eventbrite, and you'll just have to check them in and give them their badge, or you'll need to do the additional process of getting their information and charging them and doing the financial end of things too. If they, maybe if they're paying cash or don't want an Eventbrite account or whatever. That's basically it. But I will say that registration, especially during the morning rushes of Friday and Saturday, can be super high stress. And so make sure that that you're well rested and that you remain calm, because there will be enough people there to take care of issues, and Corey and I will be close by to handle any complaints. And so it's most important just to keep the line moving. But yeah, again, we'll get into the particulars of all that. Ashley go over that with you in your department meetings, and yeah, closer to con. So yeah, but basically that's it. So if you have any other questions about registration, go ahead and throw them up in Slack here, because I'm looking at that.
Just to add to the registration, if you're feeling really stressed out, just sit down, because I've done registration before, and there's moments where you just want to throw your iPad at an attendee. You don't do that, but
don't do that.
Wait, were you working with Nolan at the time?
Just don't.
But just sit down.
Oh gosh, Nolan.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, he's a good guy. He does good work, but just sometimes he just gets a little bit, over the top. You just need to bring it down a couple of notches, and we're good.
Nolan cares a lot.
Yes, he does.
Oh, yeah. Takes his job very seriously, a little too seriously.
That still doesn't mean that you don't want to throw the iPad at him at times.
Exactly.
I have never done that to him.
But yeah, so I think we've covered the vendor hall. As far as vendor hall is concerned, as far as people working in vendor hall, basically what you guys will be doing is helping to set up and tear down the vendor hall before and after, and then just kind of helping vendors with whatever their various needs are and just making sure things run smoothly during the course of the con. Admittedly, Corey, that's the best answer I have for vendor hall responsibilities. Can you elaborate on that at all?
I'm sorry. So, what did you say about vendor hall responsibilities? You're cutting it out.
Sorry. Basically, just set up and tear down before and after, and then just sort of helping vendors with their various needs and issues, like throughout the course of their con. I don't know if you can elaborate on that at all.
I mean that's a good. I mean that's honestly being a vendor hall staff isn't super complicated. I mean the biggest things you're going to do for setup is helping the manager mark their locations because each of them get a 10 by 10 space or an 8 by 8 space. So helping them use that with masking tape and marking that around to be part of the setup. Vendors will load in at about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. on Thursday night. And you'll assist. You can assist them if you want. Our main focus is making sure that they know their location, where they are upon check-in, getting their badges. A lot of that is with check-in and setup. I mean, the rest of the con, Friday through Sunday, is making sure that the doors are open on time, that they're closed when it's done, that it's locked, that it's secure, and just answering any questions they have. Something maybe get them a bottle of water if we have them on, on call, making sure that no one's having issues or complaints about theft or complaints about any heating or cooling problems in the room. And that Sunday, Teardown is pretty self-sufficient. They do all their own stuff. Most vendors want to get the heck out when they're done. Not saying that that they just want to leave, but they're just like, okay, I'm done. Pack up and out they go. Those are really the main functionalities of a vendor hall staff, not a staff person. Generally straightforward and easy. I mean, if there's any major questions, you can always yield to Sydney, your vendor hall manager.
Cool.
There's a couple other questions. I know there's one in looks like Google Hangouts. I don't know if you answered about employees allowed to cosplay.
Not in my department.
It's a tough scenario. It is department by department. Guest relations, you will not be allowed to. Certain areas have certain dress codes. If you're stationary at a place like registration, typically I think it's okay to have some sort of cosplay wig or whatnot on. But 9 times out of 10, I do ask that people are, while they're on shift, are in some sort of Whinny City staff polo, staff shirt, or business casual. Again, it is up to the department head. If you're not a huge attendee-facing department, it can be up to their discretion. I'll let them make that decision. Unless they're being dumb, I will overturn them. But 9 times out of 10, they're not. So that really answers that question. Is it depends. So sorry, it's not a more concrete answer, but that's really the best out of it.
For the best applicable answer, check with your department heads. Department heads, if you're not sure, check with us.
Yes.
Full circle.
If we're not sure, we'll ask the staff.
Yes. There's a couple other questions in here. Let's see. Sydney asked about confiscating the weapon or turning away the person with authentic-looking weapon. The typical scenario with that is that we'll ask them to go put it away first. If and then at that point they do not, then they'll be asked to leave the function space and premises. Of course, there's certain areas of the hotel, the pre-function spaces, in which we're not allowed to kick them out of because we're not renting those technically. But we'll typically ask someone to put it away first, put it in the car, room, what have you. And then secondarily, we'll remove the badge. And removing a badge, and this is something I cover in the next meeting, is something only myself and directors can do. So it's myself, Charlie.
Currently, it's just the two of us.
Oh man, are we missing a business director and an operations director?
They are not part of the org chart. No.
Okay. Well, we might BronyCon it and slash that section and just make a core set of managers. Then we can probably talk about that later.
Yeah.
So for right now, it's myself and Charlie that can pull with badges. So, but we'll work on that as the time comes. There's one other question up here. Did you answer Ben's question about how many special events, as far as things like offsite or pay to play, we're going for?
I did not see that. What was it? Sorry.
It's a couple of books, and it says how many, in quotes, special events as far as things like offsite or pay to play things are we going for?
How many?
Yes, and I think that was during our conversation with GameWorks and all that stuff. I don't know if Ben, if you're still on Slack, if that's in relation to Thursday night or throughout the weekend. If you can respond to that, that would help. I'll wait for him. I'll wait for him to respond on that one. Oh, there you go. Hey, all right, cool. Sorry, I know that I forgot there's a delay from here to YouTube. Delay. Okay, so throughout the weekend. So mainly, in terms of those kind of events, a lot of that is going to be on Thursday. If we're doing anything outside of the hotel specifically, and that is to reduce the amount of things that are taking place out and essentially taking the attendees out of the hotel. The biggest things that are happening that are kind of a quote-unquote pay-to-play scenario at the hotel is the cocktail hour and the gala. I think those are the only things currently inside the con space during that weekend. I was throwing around the idea of putting together like a quote-unquote Midwestria reunion for those who remember going to Midwestria back in the day, and then throwing like a pizza party together, on like a Friday night or something, or a Saturday night, and trying to organize that by getting all the old Midwestria folk there. That's a super early on idea, but that's the only thing really else floating in my head. Okay, more questions.
Real quick, so Ben, the GUI thing was supposed to be on Friday night, just because Saturday night's the rave. We didn't want to compete against that. Essentially, right now we don't really have anything on the schedule on Friday nights after the gala, anyways, which I think ends at 9. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to be looking for some kind of event probably to have Friday nights just to give people something to do. Yeah. Where do the guests of honor fall? Special events or other department? Guests of honor pretty much are handled by guest relations, which is Drew's department. Anything related to them, green room, autograph sessions, and all that is under Drew, under guest relations.
Another question within the Google Hangout asking about if we can have a designated lost and found sorted out. At Ciderfest, things are supposed to go to the hotel, but they wound up at ConOps. So what will happen is that everything initially will go to ConOps for lost and found. So we as a convention will handle any lost and found stuff through the duration of the weekend. At the close of it on Sunday, after everyone's left and we've closed out Sunday or Monday, then we will hand everything over to the hotel. And that's something I don't think I communicated properly for Ciderfest, but we will still handle it, and then everything will get sent out. That releases a liability on us to have to worry about shipping stuff and picking stuff up and holding onto someone's wallet. The only thing that we do separate from that is that any state-issued IDs we can actually just drop in a mailbox in an envelope, mark state IDs, and they'll open them up, and the mail system will actually mail them out for you at no charge. Kind of a weird thing that they do, but hey, that's what they do. I think was everything else question-wise. I'm just going through here. There's one from Liam asking if we'll be able to have music in the registration hall, like over loudspeakers or something like that. Not necessarily. The registration hall is actually pretty tiny. It is within the first floor, lower level of the hotel. It's literally just a coat check registration room. It's pretty enclosed. Maybe if you have some sort of boombox, you want to play some pony music on there, why not? But beyond that, there's nothing over loudspeakers. There's no major hotel. What am I trying to say? There's
Audio
no main
system?
AV tech in that area of the hotel. There's no system for it.
What I'd probably want to do, because I looked at the registration area, and just depending on what our numbers look like, depending if we think we're going to get overwhelmed, might, at least for the initial rushes, kind of separate off pre-reg and at con-reg, just to kind of, because pre-reg will go faster as people checking in with badges that are already made up. And then people who are paying at con, and actually having the badges made there on the spot, which is obviously a much slower process. So might want to separate those two away a bit. Just like with some tables down the hall or something, just to kind of, because like Corey said, the registration spot is it is in like a corner, like an L at the bottom of like some stairs, and so a little concerned about bottlenecking. So, but we'll figure all that out. Side note, just in case this wasn't clear, anybody who can come on Thursday. Please do come on Thursday, because there's going to be plenty to do to help set up and kind of, especially because this is our group's first time working at this particular hotel. A lot of things to kind of figure out once we all get there. We've several of us have had our eyeballs on things, but still, once it's every con is a little bit different, of course. And so anybody who can help set up on Thursday, please do come and help us do so, because there will be no shortage of things to do. Any more questions?
I mean, relating to radios, are we going to have like a radio protocol for this year? Because at Ciderfest, I noticed people were just yelling into the radio with no sort of order whatsoever.
Yeah, there should be some sort of radio etiquette. I mean, it's. I have a PowerPoint that I can pull from Animate Milwaukee that's pretty good in terms of what you can, what you can't do, what you should be doing, how to respond, how not to respond, all of those kind of general statistics for the weekend. The short answer, yes.
All right.
Eric, we will be setting up. We will be starting to set up. Corey, what time do we have access to the space on Thursday? Like start of the day, midday?
Let me check. I know with my Apocalypse one, I had everything Thursday morning, which was great. Let's see what they did for me.
While he's looking that up, Ben answering Justinian, we basically, no department is full. So in terms of like, I know we need some hands on registration. In the kids department, we definitely need some help. A couple more bodies in both video and tabletop gaming would be good. Basically every department, no department's full. So if anything really. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, and Justinian, as far as my fiance wants to come, she doesn't know where she would be able to volunteer. Just
We'll find a place for her.
Yeah, let her know what like what her experience is and what she's good at, and we'll find a fit for her. I mean, somewhere.
I mean, if you think she's good in guest relations, then I still need people there.
Yep. Yeah, definitely need some more guest relations people. I don't know if normally, like as far as people helping out with the autograph room, we can either borrow people from other departments that are doing good. Like at Ciderfest, we had a couple people that kind of did double duty at autographs and AV, which seemed to work out okay. Larsis, would you agree with that?
It was. Yeah. They did really well. It was kind of stressful for them.
Sure. Yeah.
So basically, like the handlers can really handle it if they need to. I want to have backup.
Yeah.
It's mostly a green room and drivers I need right now.
Yep. And then and security. I mean, pretty much everything. Sydney, to answer your concern, Sydney asked, "What if we end up understaffed?" We're not desperate, Sydney. We have a deep. I'd say that every department is at least 50, more like 75% full. So it's not like we're in trouble. It's just we could use more help. So I don't say this to scare anybody into thinking that we're drastically understaffed. It's just we could use some more hands. Is what I'm saying. I mean, we can always use more hands.
You never have too many. Well,
yeah.
I guess you can have too many, but
that's a good problem to have, though. Let's see. Ben, as far as splitting your time between departments, it's if there isn't a special events. Ben Howell is asking about this. He's on our special events team. If there isn't a current special event going on that is requiring your attention, then yes, we could. I'm sure that there's someone else we could use you. And just in case anybody missed this somehow, part of to be on staff is that over the course of the weekend, or in the case of like my artists and social media people, beforehand too. We're requiring that people put in a total of 20 hours over the course of the weekend. Now, that's pretty much no problem, but just to make sure everybody is aware of that, that condition of being on staff and getting all the benefits that go along with that. Yes. Well, as soon as our guest roster is finalized, we will be. Oh, yes. This is a big thing. Thank you, Sydney. As soon as our guest roster is finalized, I'm going to put a flyer together. And anybody who can think of anywhere around them that a flyer for Whinny City would be good at, gaming stores, video game stores, places like Two Cools and malls, like things like that. Anything that's even remotely appropriate that will allow you to put up flyers. So I don't think Hot Topic allows this, for example. Please, I will be putting a call out to basically anybody who wants to be on our street team, so to speak, and we'll get some flyers to you just to kind of help out our registration numbers and make sure people know about the con. Because it's our first year con, there's still people. It amazes me, even with Ciderfest having been 2 years in it, and what I think many would say is a very successful con, there are even people on social media who, unlike on Twitter, who have a lot of followers, who seem to be active on social media, who had no idea that Ciderfest was a thing. So you can never advertise too much, and so I want to get some flyers out there on the suggestion of Sydney and Frederick and a couple other people, and anybody who is capable of delivering those flyers to appropriate places would be greatly appreciated. But we are waiting until our guest roster is finalized, just so we can have an accurate listing of all the people that we're going to be bringing in. Yeah, comic shops, game shops, all that. Ben would be.
I can put one up on my Jimmy John's.
Sure. Yes.
So it looked like times in terms of getting into that hotel. It looks like Thursday night at 5 o'clock. I have most of the space. I'm gonna double check with the hotel, see if I can get in a little bit earlier.
Because I'm gonna get there like Thursday morning.
Sydney just asked if we know how many people have pre-reg so far. Have you looked at those numbers recently?
Not recently. I know in like the 150-ish range, which is we're pretty on par to for numbers for Ciderfest first year.
Yeah, just to give people a sense of scale, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Corey, with Ciderfest, a great number of the registrations happened at the door. There wasn't like a ton of pre-reg. And then for the second year of Ciderfest, we outsold the entire attendance of the first year in pre-reg for 2015.
Yeah.
So being a first-year con, you definitely see a lot slower. You see a much greater ratio of registrations at the door just because of various concerns. Like, they're a first-year con.
A lot of people don't think we're going to make it.
Yeah. What if they don't make it? What if guests cancel out? What if this happens? What if that happens? And so once we're established, the formula for next year changes entirely. But yeah, so it's a couple hundred, I think, or just shy of a couple hundred in pre-reg, which is what we expect for being a first-year con.
Yeah, and so it's usually about half and half. So like whatever half registers, half will get there. Sometimes it's a third registered. Third will register beforehand, and the 2/3 will register at the show. So it's a weird, funky difference. And then that flip flops here too.
Yep. Which is, again, why I want to make sure that people understand we're standing in line. All those 2/3 of our attendants that did not pre-register, I want to make sure everybody standing in line knows they can pull out their phones and pre-register right there and save themselves and us some time. So, yeah. So, the total numbers, Ben, of Ciderfest 15, what was it, Corey? It was like 1,100, 1,200?
1135, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh. Sorry, Ashley walked in from the background here.
Hey, it's our registration department. Hey, Ashley.
Sorry, I like to say hi. I'm wearing a Ciderfest call. See, look. Hey, you get down, take a look.
Did you say Ciderfest call, Corey?
I did.
He did.
You know where you are right now.
Yeah. I'm in Schaumburg now.
Who are you? What con is this?
Yeah, what con is this? What con?
It's Cadillac Gardens, Dave.
Oh god, not again.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I did get a haircut. Yeah, sorry. I got booger brain from babysitter.
Oh wait, these aren't stamps.
Yes, Corey and I each have our children on our laps. Ashley, if you can give one piece of advice to new registration people, what would it be?
For staff or for?
Yeah, for staff.
For staff.
Don't staff it.
Well, learn how to talk to people. Like customer service. Because
Don't
people don't understand how, like, the common sense.
Same thing goes for guest relations, actually.
Yeah. Could that be summarized as don't panic?
Yeah. Don't. I was gonna say don't be somebody, but I can't say who.
You talk about Nolan.
Yes.
our dear
We
friend
mentioned
Nolan.
that earlier. It's okay.
True, we could use the BronyCon motto.
Like,
No,
I can't say it.
we mentioned the poor guy earlier.
okay.
We love our dear friend Nolan, and we love how much he cares.
Hey, he's a
Like,
good
or
guy.
at least beer out of a wine glass.
All right.
This is a porter glass. Thank you very much.
Oh. I didn't
Because I am drinking a porter.
psycho gaze.
All right, I'll
Charlie is the classiest with his booze alcohol.
You have another bottle of that soy sauce?
Yes,
I
he's
sure
drinking
hope he
Kiko,
does.
Kiko Man's porter.
You're gonna murder me.
So
I
it's
sure hope you bring it.
like rude. I feel like a stalker right now.
Google Hangouts does.
Drew, what did you say about hope somebody brings something somewhere?
He was talking about this bottle of soy sauce. I assume he was talking about Dark Lord.
Oh, yeah. It would not be a PonyCon if I didn't bring a bottle of Dark Lord.
That's all he cares about for you, Charlie. Is making
All I care about. It's the only reason I'm still going.
Wow.
Oh, so you're not coming for the Bourbon County.
We set the bar
That
pretty
too.
low there.
That too.
So real quick, I want to address something. Sydney just said in the general chat in Slack, I think I'm in the wrong department for somebody with a speech impediment. Sydney, you are not. And the reason is because, like I said before, registration is kind of like the first line of defense when it comes to making sure our guests get happy. You are almost certainly going to be the first group of people that they're going to encounter, and going to be kind of in the front of their heads as far as where they go if they have questions or things that they want to talk about. Anybody who's familiar with the Brony fandom, knows that we are a very diverse fandom, and we have people with that all comes in shapes and sizes, and with you will not be the only one in your situation at the con, and so having somebody there, that's that you can relate to and that they can relate to, in case one of those people has a question or something like that, I think will be beneficial to the formula. So don't worry at all about that. If you're not super familiar with the fandom, the reason why I do these cons, the reason why I blackmailed Corey into making me his vice chair, is because that's a joke, not really. Is just because I love this fandom and I love the people and I love how just intoxicating the happiness and the friendliness and the acceptances of these places. And I want to do my part to just help make that better, because it helps me, it helps other people, it helps everybody that attends. And so do not, and this goes for everybody. Like, do not worry at all about any sort of challenges that you believe that you have, because here at these things they disappear, they go away. You're just a brony, or just somebody who's helping out bronies, or just whatever. So, or Pegasus, or whatever label you want to stick on your shirt. It's all the same. So please don't worry about that. You'll be just fine.
A brownie.
A brownie. Go home, Dave.
I have to go. I have to attend a meeting for another con.
Of course you do.
Yeah, Drew doesn't work any other cons. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you guys.
Thank you very much, Drew. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Don't get fired.
Yeah. For my staff, if you need to get a hold of me, I'm always available from direct messages.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Does anybody else have any questions? Managers, are there any other questions in the chat doohickey here that I can't see?
Not that have been addressed already that I'm seeing.
Okay. Team names. I don't know. Like for departments, like kind of like security's Royal Guard. I'm looking at a comment in
Squadra Audio Visivizio.
Yes.
Squadra Audiovisivo.
Speaking of intoxicating.
If departments want to come up with nicknames for yourselves, by all means, you have at it.
AV is swathed in rich Corinthian leather.
And that's Larsis.
Hold on.
Okay, so it looks like we've addressed most of the questions. So thank you guys for bearing with the weirdness and getting this going. Hopefully this doesn't happen the next time. And if you have any questions, make sure to send them over to myself or Corey or to your department heads. And yeah, unless any of my other anyone else on the leadership can think of anything else that they want to mention or say or talk about, I think that probably would wrap it up for the evening.
Sure.
Silence.
Cheers.
All right, guys. Thank you very, very, very much. Make sure you keep an eye on Slack for messages, especially as we're ramping up the con. The communication on there is going to ramp up with details and instructions and things like that. The department heads, I again highly encourage you to have departmental meetings with your staff to answer questions and go over the specifics of your department and responsibilities. But otherwise, I think that's probably a wrap. Thank you very much for to everybody that's hung out with us, and to anybody who watches this later. And once again, thank you for everybody for volunteering your free time to help out with this con. We really, really, really appreciate every single one of you.
True facts. I feel that.
Stay safe. Don't die.
Yeah, all that. Okay, thanks very much, guys. You all have a good night.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
All right.